Hello there. How is it going? Welcome to Breakfast All Day. Just Christy and Alonso here. Next up for us is The Father, an exquisite piece of filmmaking with an incredible performance from Anthony Hopkins. Alonso will tell you about it.
So yeah, this is if you were watching our news segment, the directorial debut of Florian Zeller, who co-adapted his own play with Christopher Hampton. And yeah, Anthony Hopkins, this is really, I don't like to unpack tour de force very often, but this is a really amazing,
if you're going to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, this is one of those times. So he plays Anthony, who is an older man who lives by himself in a spacious, gorgeous, roomy London flat. But he's getting on in years, and his at-home care nurse has just quit because he's accused her of stealing. His daughter, played by Olivia Colman, is concerned about him and his well-being because she is planning to move to Paris soon because she's in a new relationship. But is she in a new relationship? And is Olivia Colman his daughter? And is he in his flat? And is everything that we're seeing in the movie actually happening, or are they the perceptions of a man who is slowly succumbing to dementia, whether it's Alzheimer's related or otherwise? They don't get into the details, but clearly we're not meant to take anything at face value because things are constantly changing, and it's confusing and it's disorienting, and it's meant to be because that's what Anthony is going through, and it's very brilliantly conveyed in that same way to the audience.
It's such a magic trick going on here between the performances and the script and the editing. The editor was our winner, our LA Film Critics winner.
Oh, right.
Editing. Because what's happening here, it sounds impossible because this movie is functioning on two different levels at the same time, right? We are sometimes looking at everything from Anthony's perspective, right? We are in his mind. We are experiencing his confusion, but then we also sometimes see the perspective of Olivia Colman as his daughter, or we find out, Imogen Poots, who has been brought in to be his latest in-home caregiver because he scared the previous one away with his surliness and his insults. Right. And so we're seeing things from both perspectives, but it's still never quite easy to grasp what's truly happening here, which sounds alienating, but there's such sympathy. There is such deeply decent humanity in the depiction of this man's condition. It's never mawkish. No. It's never condescending. It's never hand holding. It's the idea of watching a movie about a man succumbing to dementia sounds like such an eat your vegetables kind of thing.
Yeah. Or like a really sappy tearjerker.
Right. And we have seen several movies in the last year or so that deal with this topic. Viggo Mortensen directed and stars in a movie called Falling, where he is the son of a man who is succumbing, and how do you deal with that? And it's
Supernova had that.
Supernova, thing. Right. Stanley Tucci and Colin Firth. And so there's it's just so tricky the way this works on both these levels at the same time. But also beyond the editing, which keeps it all moving, not just in coherent fashion, but like in thrilling, gripping fashion. The tiniest details in the production design, whether like the grocery bag carrying the chicken from the grocery store is blue or is it white? What color is the backsplash in the kitchen? Is it a light, cool blue, or is it like an earth tone?
What are the light fixtures hanging from the ceiling? Where does this closet door lead? Yeah.
Right. I mean, so things like that, you've really got to pay attention, because otherwise you're going to be like, wait a minute, I thought this was there. And then
but it sneaks up on you, I think, which is the really cool thing of it all. And that's the point, the idea. It's not like you wake up one day and suddenly everything's topsy-turvy. It's these gradations, and it's this, wait, I thought didn't you say that? And how where's the, why am I, and it is, the Ebert quote that everybody always likes to cite is that movies are a machine that creates empathy. And I think this really does create empathy. Just this idea of this is what it's like, and it's a thing that I'm terrified of. I have to say, of all the things about getting older and dealing with issues of mental health and physical health, the idea of that confusion, that fear of I don't have my bearings. I don't understand where I am or what's happening or who these people are. Like that's a thing that just jolts me to my core. And I think the movie does a really great job of capturing what that must be like. And this is a weird comparison, but it kind of reminded me at times of Mother, just in terms of that
Mother exclamation point.
Mother exclamation point, exactly. Despite the similar title, but just the idea that like that feeling of when you're in a nightmare and the logic of just like, wait, but there was just a thing there and now it's not, and now I'm in a different place and you weren't here before, and that's somebody else who's wearing the other person's face, and like, you know, so I don't know. I think that it's the editing, it's the production design, it's the performances, it's the directing. It just like, this is a movie that has an agenda as far as what it wants to achieve in a narrative way, and it does so brilliantly.
That's actually a really good analogy that had never occurred to me. But yeah, the whole sensation of being disoriented and how terrifying that is. That is true for both of these films. And one thing that this movie and Supernova both depict in showing this character's deterioration is little things like not knowing how to put on clothes anymore. Like Stanley Tucci's character forgets how to button up his sweater. And so Colin Firth has to come and help him. And that something similar happens here too. Like, and again, it's a tiny little moment, but it is so vivid in conveying what his daily life is like and how heartbreaking that is. It's a great cast. Olivia Colman is excellent in this too, in the most subtle ways, because she is trying to keep it all together and clearly is having the same conversation with him over and over again. And he's not recognizing her, or he's not treating her kindly. And the way she has to keep, like, you know, that British stiff upper lip, but like there'll be a flicker in her eyes that registers that this is cutting her more deeply. She
just wants to scream, yeah.
Or that she's just hurt, or that she's just exhausted. And she does that with such subtlety. She's so great in this. And then Olivia Williams comes in, which is a nice bit of casting as far as who she is in contrast with Olivia Colman. There's a lot of facial similarity there. Rufus Sewell is in this as the husband, but again, is he the husband, or who is he? Who is Imogen Poots? Is she really the caregiver? And she's got a line to walk. There's one scene that is just like, oh, it's a killer. The scene where he's charming as hell when he first meets Imogen Poots, when she's being interviewed to be his caregiver, and he's turning on the charm and he wants to have drinks and he wants to dance, and like that glimmer of who he probably was, the ideal person that he was, is still in there somewhere. But then it takes this really abrupt change that is just like it yanks the rug out from under you, and it's shocking. It's truly shocking.
Very much so. So yeah, this is an extraordinary film. It is. It opened a couple weeks ago in New York and LA theaters. It is expanding this weekend, and it will be on VOD in 2 weeks on the 26th. And it is likely to come up Monday when the Oscar nominations are announced. So
I would think editing, screenplay, Hopkins for sure, Colman for sure. Anyway, I'm saying 9.2.
I said 9. Yeah, this is it presses a lot of my buttons, but I think just in generally speaking, this is really exceptional filmmaking.
Indeed. Go check it out. It's not an eat your vegetables thing. It sounds like it's
no. It's very, very compelling.
It's beautiful.
So thanks you guys for watching. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all the social media at BeFastAllDay. Visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/BeFastAllDay. Lots of cool things for our subscribers who coming up, or we'll be recapping The Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that premieres on Disney Plus. But this week, it's our monthly Off the Menu, where we invite our subscribers to choose from a list of classic films that we've never talked about before. And so this week we'll be talking about John Huston's The Dead in time for St. Patrick's Day. It's going to be a fun conversation. Christy, what's coming up on Marvel Mondays?
It is the Avengers, the first Avengers, but we got to remember, we got to call it Marvel's The Avengers.
Oh, right, because you don't want to wind up with that movie with Uma Thurman and Ralph Fiennes.
Right, and we're also not talking
I'll defend that film.
We're also not talking about the 60s TV show with Diana Rigg. So yes, Marvel's Tyler Perry's Marvel's The Avengers.
There you go.
It's all been leading up to this, all the individual standalone films, which seems kind of fitting because also next week we're talking about Justice League.
There you go.
We're talking about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Monday, we're going to have, besides Marvel Mondays, we're going to have a special little quickie episode of Breakfast All Day for you because Oscar nominations come out, and
the embargo
also,
lifts for Justice League.
It does. So we'll talk about DC's The Avengers.
DC's Zack Snyder's
Avengers cut
in gray IMAX. All right. Thanks, you guys. Have a good week. Take care of yourselves and each other. We'll see you next time.